Alright, let's find the standard form equation and all the good stuff for this particular conic section. Notice that because there's two squares and the signs are the same but the coefficients are different, that tells me it's an ellipse. So I know it's an ellipse, so let's move the x's together. Let's move the y's together, leave a little space because I'm going to have to complete the square. And let's move this to the other side, so 671 is added to the other side. Now I'm going to factor out a 49, so that's this. I'm going to factor out a 16, and 16 divided by 64 is what, 4? Alright, now I'm going to do the old completing the square trick, and again I like to do it like this, where I add the same thing. I'm actually adding 49 of these, so whatever I do I'm going to add 49 of those here, and whatever I do here I've got 16 of those that I'm adding, so I have to add that to the other side as well. And this is half of 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1, half of negative 4 is 2, squared is 4, so there's a 1 there and there's a 4 there. So my equation is going to be 49 x plus 1 squared plus 16 y minus 2 squared equals 784 when you clean up this mess right here. So now I'm going to divide everything by 784, and not surprisingly when I do that I get really nice numbers. I get x plus 1 squared over 16 plus y minus 2 squared all over 49 equals 1. So now that's your equation. You're in standard form, and now what I want to do is draw the graph and label all of my important information. Alright, so let's take all this information and put it on our graph. First of all, I have the center at negative 1, positive 2. Negative 1, positive 2 is my center. Let me redo that point because I drew the x-axis a little bit too high. So it's negative 1, positive 2, that's my center. Negative 1, positive 2 is the center. And now these values over here underneath tell me my distances. So 4 is my x radius, as I like to call it. So I'm going to go right 4, and I'll just go ahead and label the points as I do it. So this point right here is going to be 3, 2, and then I'm also going to go left 4. So that point right there is negative 5, 2, because I went 4 left and right. I added 4 and subtracted 4 from negative 1 to get the green points. Now I'm going to do the same thing to get the major, these ones are called the major vertices right here. I'll do this with the blue color. I'll make it the lighter blue color so you can tell the difference. So I'm going to go up 7 and down 7 from here, so that means I'm adding 7 and subtracting 7 from the 2. So adding 7 is going to get me up here. Let's pretend like that's right, although it's probably a little higher than that. That point's going to be negative 1, 9, and subtract 7 from that would put me down here, which is negative 1, negative 5. And now I can draw my my ellipse rather in here carefully, like this ish. And the last thing that they'll want to ask you about is your foci or foci. So I'll do this in yellowish gold color, and there's some point right here, somewhere in here there's a point that this distance right here is called the focal radius, or C as they call it, and notice that that's not as big as your major axis. So it's going to actually be 49 equals C squared plus 16. That's your Pythagorean theorem. I subtract 16 from both sides, I get C squared equals 33. So C equals plus or minus the square root of 33, which means C right here is root 33. So that point right there, again, I'm going up and down, so I'm going to add it to the 2, is -1 comma 2 plus root 33. And that point right there is -1 comma 2 minus root 33, because I'm going down root 33 from that one. And there are all the values that I need.